Yo, what's going on, Dragon Ballers? Welcome back to another player profile for Shenron's Lair. This time, we are here with the boss man himself, the leader of the team, the creator of the website that has the excellent deck builder on it. We're here with Markus Kantarci. So, Markus, why don't you introduce yourself, say hi to the people, and give us a little bit about your TCG and Dragon Ball Super background.
Hey everyone, my name is Marcus, and I've been playing Dragon Ball Super since it came out back in July 2017, I believe. Um, and I have some TCG experience playing Naruto card game way back in like 2009. And then I played Yu-Gi-Oh when I was a kid in junior high and high school, but never competitively. I want to say DBS is definitely my most competitive TCG that I've played. Um, and I also played Hearthstone a lot, if you kind of count that as a TCG. And Hearthstone is kind of what inspired me to create Shenron's Lair, because of all the support websites they have for that game. And that's how we are here today.
And just giving the people a little bit of background info. You have a background as like a coder and website designer, right? A little bit.
Yeah, so as my day job, I work as a software engineer. So I code up apps and all that type of stuff for work. So I was like, might as well do it for the hobby that I love.
Awesome. I know people love that background tidbit information. So, next up, what are some of your DBS accomplishments?
So I've been playing for so long that, I go to a lot of tournaments, both locally and in my state of California. I want to say my biggest accomplishments are probably winning the San Diego Celebrations event, which had about 480 players. And then I've also got third place 3 times at different major events.
Yeah, third place
And
is a super big accomplishment for sure, even though people give you crap for it.
yeah.
And then next up, what has been your favorite format thus far?
My favorite format so far, I want to say, is actually this format or the previous format right before Super Shenron.
Yep.
Yeah, right before Super Shenron was a lot of fun. Um, before Kid Goku and Brawly kind of came out. So I'm not sure which format that was. The format that we played in Vegas.
Oh, it's like right before set six with like red decks and Broly, Height of Mastery, Shenron Gogeta, that stuff.
Yeah, I really liked that format. There was a lot of variety. Chain Zeno was pretty good. Shenron Gogeta was really good. Janemba was very good. So it was kind of like all over the place. It felt pretty fair. No deck kind of won as early as, turn 3 or 4. So that was not relevant. But, decks that win on 5, I think that format is kind of pretty fun to me.
Yeah, I also definitely love that format. Next up, what's been your least favorite format to play in?
I want to say it was the Super Shenron format, this most recent one. I think that, even though I won an event with Super Shenron, so I kind of owe it something, right?
Right.
But it was still, in my opinion, not a very fun format because Super Shenron just hard checked so many decks that it was really oppressive. And I think that if we had even more time with it available, then we would have seen a lot higher percentage of play. I think eventually people would have just given up and started playing it. I was kind of surprised that at Pro Play Tour Dallas, not too many people played it, and it ended up winning the event. So I was not a fan of Super Shenron at all.
Yeah, a few interesting things. I mean, it's really interesting how people just won't pick up a deck they don't enjoy. Like, there's obviously that sentimental factor to it, even though it was pretty objectively the best deck. The other thing, though, is like I get this common response a lot, and it feels like Super Shenron kind of outclassed Mecha Frieza in, like, I guess you can say, degeneracy. What do you think about that? Do you think that like Super Shenron was like the next level Mecha Frieza, or like a little bit below Mecha Frieza? What do you think?
Um, I could say, yeah, it was probably a little bit worse. The thing about Mecha Frieza is it wasn't a immediately like win type of deck. It built up. I mean, you could awaken on turn 1 right away and then Shugesh your Kabas and all those guys out, but you weren't winning instantly from any game state within one turn. It was kind of building up. You were building up your board, you were building up your value, and you were just building up to it. And so when the opponent disrupts you with stuff like Chain Zeno or Bloodlusting your Shugeshes, whatnot, it was still taking time. It was still a little bit of interaction between both players. The game was going a little bit long basically. Even though it has a potential to win early, it still would go a little bit longer. But with Super Shenron, it's like as soon as you draw your pieces, you're ready to explode, and boom, you just explode, and that's it.
Yeah, I can definitely agree with pretty much all those points. So next up, what's been your favorite deck of all time that you've played, or that maybe you didn't play?
Um, it's kind of a tough one. I've made a lot of jank decks, and I love all of them. But I want to say my favorite deck of all time. Oh man, it's tough between a blue red Trunks deck that I played at Gen Con and Mecha Veggies. Um, I think both are probably my favorite decks. Mecha Veggies is great because, that whole format with the Mecha Veggies and Mecha Apes, it was as lame as it was still very skill intensive, and it was really fun because every game could branch out to be so many different ways. Like one game you could have a bunch of Kabas and a bunch of Kales, or another game you would have, just like one Kaba and you're protecting it with Bloodlust. So it was really cool. I really liked that format and that deck. And then the blue red trunks, just aggro and chain Zeno. It was just so much fun where I would chain Zeno them and then awaken right after. So I draw two on top of my chain Zeno. And then swing with Zeno, combo, and draw another card. It just felt really satisfying, and I really love that deck. I guess talking about it, I guess blue red trunks. That's my favorite deck.
Nice. I'm very, very surprised you didn't say Blue Red Hurdagarn, but I know how much you love that deck. But Blue Red Trunks is definitely very good as well.
Yeah.
Next up, what is the deck you hate facing the most?
I hate playing against Janemba.
Oh, common answer. Common answer.
Yeah, Janemba is by far one of the most kind of annoying decks. I think it's perfectly balanced, perfectly fine, and it definitely deserves a spot in the meta. I think it's good for the game, to be honest, but it's just really, it's not my style, and I don't enjoy playing against it, but you have to always be prepared for it.
Totally. And next up, what's your favorite event you've been to thus far?
My favorite event, um, it's probably that's also tough. I've been to quite a few really cool events. Both Gen Con was really cool and Chicago Celebrations was really cool, but I would say it is probably Chicago Celebrations. I think I had a lot of fun there being in Chicago. I've never been there. It was my first time getting to eat, deep dish pizza, even though these are like unrelated to the events, but
That's
it
all
was
part of it.
still
It's all part of it.
it was still really fun. Actually, yeah, Chicago was a lot of fun. It was the first time Super Shenron was like really put on display. Danny Height was playing it, Jordan Beard was there. Just yeah, I had a lot of fun playing Team Wars with you and Jose, and then the next day playing singles. I think it was a really like action-packed weekend, and it was a lot of fun.
And we can't forget about the adventure trying to find a way to ship the giant cards back home. That was
Oh
definitely
yeah, exactly.
that was hilarious.
Yeah.
Next up, if you can go back to any event, which would it be and why?
So I think it would be Chicago again because in Chicago for our team tournament we lost in top four, and I think we lost. I can't remember quite now if we lost in top four to Cameron's team or
Yes. Yep.
okay. So then we played for third place against Ben Lodi's, I think,
Yep.
his team. Okay, well then I guess for third place in that third place game, I made a crucial misplay playing against Green Brawley,
Mm.
and that was purely from lack of experience, and I kind of regret that, and I felt like I let you guys down, and that kind of made me feel pretty salty. So I know if I could go back, I would change that part for that day, and then in addition, I guess so it's like two birds with one stone. I also made a big misplay in the semifinals in the singles tournament against Anthony McAuliffe, and I think if I would have made a different line of play with the Mira play, I think I could have stolen that game too and gone on to the finals. And who knows what would have happened there. But yeah, it's like those two small little misplays got me. So if I could change those two things about that event, it would have been great. I would have got third and at least second in the singles.
Yeah, man. And don't worry about the team thing. We don't hold anything against you. We all definitely got our fair share of misplays, if any. But next up, what is the craziest game you've won or lost? Give us that story.
Oh man, craziest game I've won or lost. I would say that there was this one time where I was playing at locals. It was a local super release, I believe, and we're playing for the certificate, and we're playing for a bunch of tournament packs. I think this is way back in like set one, so back then tournament packs were like a really big deal. Getting 5 of them meant like you were getting maybe $200 because if you pull those Gokus or the Gohans, like it was worth a lot of money. So there was a lot on the line, and I'm playing in this matchup. I believe I was playing Ginyu. I think I was playing yellow Ginyu, and yeah, my opponent was playing blue Vegeta, and he only had like about 6 cards in his hand, and I had about like 11. Right, like I had a really good advantage against him, and I swing for game, and I combo all in, and I get up to like 100k or something, right? I get up to a really big number, and then he goes super combo once, super combos twice, and then he goes Jalco, bounce your 10k back. Jalco, bounce your 10k back. Jalco, bounce your 10k back.
Oh,
Jalco, bounce your. He played 4 Jalcos on me, and he won the battle. And then like I had no hand afterwards, all tapped out and everything, and he won on the counter swing. So that was a pretty crazy game. That is that I've one of many probably. I have had so many games that are like that where it comes to this crucial moment. But yeah, I
yeah.
would say that's the craziest one.
Back then, Jocko was insane. A 15k combo was so good. Next
Yeah.
up, who are some of the DBS players you admire the most?
Besides my teammates, obviously, I definitely admire everyone on the team. That's why I recruited you guys. And if I could, well, I guess I shouldn't poach, right? But I would say people that I admire the most in the game are just people with really positive attitudes who play the game to have fun. And one person that stands out to me is definitely Danny Hype. Every time I play him, it's always a blast. I know in Chicago I played him, and there are times where I make misplays, like errors, right? Playing the game, and he would correct me, and we just have a good time playing. We don't rule shark each other, nothing like that, and just have a really good time playing the game. And I think Danny Hype's a really good example of that, and so that's why I admire him.
Absolutely, yeah. If you're playing a game and having a good time, you're a winner, like no matter what. And then next up, what are your hopes for the future of the Dragon Ball Super card game?
I hope it keeps going. That's the number one thing. I love playing the game. I hope it has a long, healthy life. I do hope the competitive scene grows a little bit more. Maybe we could be a little bit more mainstream, so to say.
Mhm.
But yeah, I hope it keeps growing. I think it's in a good spot. I think it's doing great as it is right now. It's just a matter of time. I think it will eventually keep growing and growing and be a top game for TCGs.
Definitely, I definitely want to break that top three of this game. I love this game so much. And last question: with the ban of Super Shenron and the new format coming up, what are some of the decks you're toying and experimenting with?
Um, so without Super Shenron, I believe now decks and games can go to 5 energy, maybe more reliably. And I do think the overall game is in a place where you could do some pretty powerful combos on 5 energy and win the game. And so I'm kind of tinkering around with what are some combos I could do with basically 5 energy or build up to that. Um, some decks that I like right now. I kind of had this pretty cool yellow Teen Gohan deck. The one that says when you attack with them, you burst 2, discard a yellow, and then draw 1. So I would swing with him, do his burst effect and discard, and now I immediately have 3 cards in my discard pile. So then I would overwhelm Dimension Banisher Trunks, I believe.
Dimension support.
Yeah, Dimension Support Trunks. Yeah, so then I would overwhelm him and bring out basically the Trunks for 15k and a 20k crit vanilla, and all for 1 energy. So I basically get 3 attacks, my leader swing, a 15k Trunks, and a 20k crit, all for 1 energy. And so I built this really aggro deck that, plays that. And I really like it. It's something I've been messing around with. Jalemba unfortunately does, survive, so it's kind of bummer.
You help them. You
But
help them kind of mill you out.
right, exactly. But that's a deck I've been tinkering around with. I do think there are some really, really aggro strategies that are available that don't necessarily have to get to 5 energy, where every turn you're just putting so much pressure, especially against decks that need to wait to get to 5 energy, like Brawly Height of Mastery, right? Where it needs to get to 4, but yeah, it's like 4 or 5 turns, passing by. It's just building up. So if you're just aggroing them down in the meantime really hard, they struggle against that. So I'm trying to build something like that that could, you know, um, disrupt their plans and not let them get to that 4 or 5 energy that they want.
Definitely. I think Shenron's Lair is going to be some of the top players when it comes to cracking this new open format. But Markus, really appreciate your time. Thank you so much for chatting with me. Any final shout outs you want to get out of the way before we kind of wrap this up?
Yeah, shout out to you. Thank you for having me here, obviously. Shout outs to my teammates. We're going to be going to Origins in a couple weeks. I'm pretty excited for that with the new format. And yeah, hopefully we take it down.
Definitely. All right, guys. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.
What's up, Dragon Ballers? Danny Wynn here. Thanks for watching the video. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. And maybe one day, if you keep watching Joey's videos, you could play as slow, good as me.